Howdy folks, It Takes Two is a game literally designed to be played by two people. I mean, it's in the name. It's all about what Dr. Hakim says, collaboration. You need to collaborate in order to finish the game. I mean, the whole thing is that you two have the keys to each other's locks. You need to work together to get to the end. You are two halves of one whole. Look, I think I made the point clear enough that the game requires two people to be played. Or does it? See, today we're challenging the very design of a game. We are wondering, does it really take two? I am going to beat this game using my mouse and keyboard as player 1 and my Xbox controller as player 2. So, what are the rules? Well, there's only one. I cannot use another person to help me beat the game no matter what. I can rebind controls, I can take things slowly one at a time. I can do whatever I need to in order to make the game easier, but I cannot use another person. There's no bending the rules this time, no exceptions, nothing. We're gonna see if we can truly beat this game by ourselves. But no matter what I do in order to help myself, it wouldn't matter if I end up getting stuck, does it? So let's jump into it. We start with the couple at the end of their relationship. And little Rose overhears yet another argument, and this is where we assign May as the mouse and keyboard and Cody as the controller.
You know we love you, right?
Then we sit Rose down, tell her it's her fault, and she accidentally casts a spell, turning us into dolls. Where then we meet our couple's therapist.
I'm Dr. Hakim, worldwide bestseller and an expert on love.
Now that we can actually start the gameplay, I figure out how I'm actually gonna do this. For now, as I'm trying to get used to the controls, I decided to swap on activities. First one, then the other. Activating the switches causes fuses to fly off and we gotta go find them. Luckily, two are just right here and I figured now it's time to practice using both hands, which will be very important later.
Because you're made of clay? Keep your eyes on the fuses.
For now though, we got a ground pound to activate some gears and get to the next fuse. Haha, bitch, you thought I needed that. On the way though, comes our first obstacle that requires proper collaboration. Okay. I had May jump onto the tin and Cody jump inside to roll the canister to the ledge and jump through. Or so I thought. I'm stupid, or at least just like to make things harder for myself. Cause you could have just log rolled your way over one at a time. Oh, is that not how it's supposed to be? I could have just like... Motherfucker! God damn it. Once we get the last fuse, it's time to move on to the next section, where we traverse through vacuum tubes, even having to aim with one person and open the next section with the other. Coming across one of the very many puzzles that requires hot seating with the controllers, and myself of course. We gotta use our bodies to complete the current in the wires, but you can't move until the next person takes the electrical current. I figured using these vacuum sections is perfect practice on multitasking with controllers because I'm gonna need all the help I can get. Fuck. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a webcam to record my hands at all times, so that's why the hand cam isn't here. What I did was I set up my phone on the tripod to record in sections. Besides, it would just be me holding forward on both controls. Here was the first hard puzzle, alternating fan directions, where I thought you'd have to hold forward and then jump and dash while flipping the switch with the other player. But you could just line your camera up and hit dash. There's a lot of games to get to, so we'll have some big leaps in the story. But I will show each level gimmick enough to explain how I got past everything. And with that being said, we jump into the vacuum boss fight, where we almost peacefully resolved it, but Dr. Hakim is a big fan of stirring the pot.
Don't listen to him. Once I get my real body back, I can fix you.
Then why did you buy the expensive Turbo X2000?
But the way to defeating him is avoiding the fire bombs and sucking them up with Cody and shooting them at the vacuum as May. And in between each wave of fire bombs, just jump over the shock waves that are created.
I am the strongest vacuum. No stop that burns.
Oh, nice!
Oh shit. Then you avoid the explosive tags. Rinse and repeat until...
No stop. They're not meant to be.
Oh, man! You think this is too much?
Kind of. They tried to kill us.
The next section is up, where we get to use the hammer and nails to free the other tool friends from the toolbox. It's just some simple platforming sections where we hammer a platform up and hold them in place with the nails, or use the nails to vault around. Even in this section, with the metal miller, just needed timed nails and basic platforming. So, I think we can move straight to the boss fight, or at least a lead up to it, where it's constantly raining nails, and if you get caught, you're pinned down to the ground and you gotta mash the button to free yourself. But for now, we just take turns up until the final platform, where we gotta hammer up the ramp and stick it with the nail, while also dodging raining nails, and moving fast enough to not have to hammer the ramp up again. Now, onto our JoJo posing boss, where you have to have insanely precise timing to nail his arms, so May can swing across and hit the locks open. And of course, dodge more raining nails. Hold on, wait. Did you notice that? I thought you had to be in sync in order to actually beat this boss. You had to be like really in sync with each other. But turns out that's not true, because right there, he's got a hole in his arm, ready for you to pin it against the wall. I wish I would have seen that sooner, because I managed to beat this boss without ever noticing. And I spent 30 minutes just stuck on phase 1 trying to get past it repeatedly over and over again. Once you do that, it's kind of just focus on keeping one person alive while the ground starts shrinking all around you. And of course, dodging the raining nails. And survive the shovel slams until you can hammer Cody into the air and he can shoot a can and explode the toolbox. Soon after, we have a section where you gotta time your rail slides to hit 2 switches at the same time and disable the fan. Only problem is, one rail is way longer than the other. But getting past that, we gotta do it again.
Holy crap!
Focus. Here it comes.
Ah, I missed it, goddammit. Talking to the binoculars, we're able to figure out that there's a spell that put us in this situation. So, we come to the conclusion that we gotta get to Rose's room and make her cry on us. On the way to Rose's room, we just swap controllers while climbing the tree, so we skip until the game turns into a third-person shooter, where Cody gets a sap gun and May uses a match gun to explode the sap. We use our new weapons to make our way through the tree, clearing out any passages and solving any puzzles in the way. The first section in this level that's even remotely challenging was where you have to balance windmills with May's weight and the tree sap. And it's not really that difficult. It's just swapping fast enough to not fall off the platform. Coming up on the first boss of this section, the vault, where we gotta survive a couple of waves of wasp by soaking them in sap and setting them on fire. My strat was just to keep May in the middle of the room so I could just use my mouse to aim and kill anyone without taking my hands off the controller. It keeps the swapping time to a bare minimum. Once we kill enough, an armored wasp shows up with the shield. The strat becomes bait him into charges and shoot sap on his back.
Sap isn't sticking to its shield!
Then hit him with the matches with May. Repeat until fully toasted wasp. Past the vault door, we got to abort all the lava to not cause future problems with the squirrels. It's about here I started feeling comfortable to, at the very least, move both characters at the same time. While it isn't very hard to hold forward, once they aren't on the exact same path, navigating becomes more of a chore. I made it a real effort to try and get used to using both controls at once, since I'm going to need it for sure later on. Coming up on Wasp in a bottle, which wasn't even slightly challenging. Wasp would keep spawning until you plug the hole with the bottle. It's no biggie, but then there's another boss that shows up, and of course, we gotta hit him with the same strat as the Vault Wasp.
No! We don't want to fight!
Kick ass, Cody!
Retreat, Bella!
Bait with May, sap the Wasp, bait with Cody, and then shoot matches. See, the Wasp has kind of made me a master baiter, because a lot of the bosses turn into that. Ooh. Ah, fuck. And soon after, we fight a swarm where we just leave May in the center of the arena and have Cody set the sap.
Wait! That... It's a hammer!
They're still just wasps, Cody!
Once we beat enough of them, they get mad and smash through the floor, sending us into a sliding section where we have to dodge wasps that are trying to snip us. Ah, shit. And of course, make death-defying jumps across bottomless pits. Okay. That works. I think I could just go around them. And while I can just focus on staying alive with just one character, I found that you could just steer both towards the wall and the wasp completely miss every attack. Yeah, that works. Ah, that didn't. And we safely land on a barrel lid that we can use as a boat. Cody is going to act as an engine, so all we got to do is hold right trigger and move left or right with the analog stick. And then with our other hand, just aim May's gun. Simple stuff, so we can jump right over all of this because the only things to worry about are the explosive larvae, and with the acid trip section, we just swap between controls to make our way to the flying catfish. Which is just as simple as not getting your controls mixed up and keeping your balance. The most fun part for me are the sections where the game becomes a bullet hell, so I have to focus on both characters' movement at once. It's not too difficult, but sometimes it can feel like trying to snap the shape of a triangle in one hand and a square in the other. Go ahead and try it. Moving right into the beetle boss, we play bait and switch once again. Use May for bait and Cody fills the pits with sap.
What about these pits, Cody?
Then we have to shoot the pits when the beetle is right over it. But I used Cody to fill all 4 pits first, so I didn't have to switch as much. Once we beat him into submission, we ride him all the way to the queen, and we get to work on dismantling her, where, you guessed it, we kill the swarm protecting her, and bait May while Cody covers the convenient X's with sap. Then we light that with May's matches. Where the only challenge was surviving the literal wave of wasps that are dropped in like a bomb. But each section of the body that gets broken acts as a checkpoint, so if you die, there isn't much progress lost.
Shields, swords, and now this?
But once you go against Fleetwood Mac's advice, you find out that it was a bumblebee controlling the wasp, and the squirrels get pissed that you didn't kill her, then try to kill you, so you steal their plane to get ready for my favorite boss in this game. You escape these militaristic squirrels with Cody flying the plane, and luckily May just has to aim and shoot. It doesn't get too disorienting until the game decides to attack you from both directions. Thankfully, the game has a generous aim assist, so all you have to do is aim in the general direction and you'll hit your shots. Once you escape, the Chief Squirrel dude decides to have a Mortal Kombat style fight on the plane wings. And that's where it gets real troublesome, because you have to steer the plane, and of course, you also have to fight. So I decided to get the plane on a path that is as straight as possible, and then I fight as quickly as I can with May. And sometimes I would just repeatedly jump over the squirrel while steering just so I don't get hit.
Hey! Watch it move! Hey! You're not looking too bad!
Moving into Moon Baboon's level, Cody can change sizes by inflating up to a giant and shrinking down to very tiny. May says it's due to cosmic inflation. You can learn more by searching "It Takes Two Inflation." And May can run up walls, but other than that, there's nothing significant of note. Just switching back and forth and moving in straight lines until you use Giant Cody to roll a plasma ball with May on it. Which wasn't hard if you align your camera first, just have to have May keep her balance. So we're skipping way out to the Moon Baboon boss fight, where we get his laser to follow us right into his own generator shield things. Once you do that a couple of times, you yank off his gun and then fly his own rockets into his own ship.
Say hello to mine!
And go mini Cody and run inside the ship to hit the eject button. During this part, we can just ignore May and focus on getting to the end with Cody. You take control of his ship and track him down and kill him with his own guns. Soon after it's decided, in order to make Rose cry, we have to kill her elephant toy, Rose's favorite. But before we move forward, I decide to play with myself. I mean, against myself. Which hand is better at bull riding? We just gotta hit the corresponding buttons as close to the center as possible to gain a point.
Yes, Cody, you won. Just you wait.
Well, now comes the first multitasking of this level. I need to see what animals are coming up on the rail, and the other player has to jump on that corresponding animal to get the blocks out of the way. Twice. Nothing too bad. Yeah. Wait. God damn it. Until we come up on this little section where you have to be synchronized with your partner. You have to be quick with the platforming as well, and jump from number block to number block fast enough before the previous one falls into the pit. If you fall off, then your next one that you're going to jump on falls into the pit as well, making you restart. So, you need to be synced up perfectly. And here's where I first thought, damn, I'm not going to be able to finish this game, am I? Because I tried and I tried for a long ass time, and I just couldn't do it. But thankfully, I didn't have to dedicate the time, because you have a small ledge that's just wide enough for Cody to stand on so the bridge can retract and let May do the platforming first. And thank God, because I didn't see another way. Ain't no way in hell I was gonna fucking do this by myself. What? Like, I could have just skipped the whole fucking thing. God damn it. If you enjoy, please like and comment, because it really helps with the algorithm. Further into Rose's room, we get a cool little roller coaster bit right up until we board a pirate ship. Somehow, someway, this is a better pirate sim than fucking Skull and Bones.
We're the captains of these seas!
And this wasn't even too hard either. You just hold W and right trigger to move. And I only ever needed one cannon. Even when fighting the octopus boss, it was just rotate and shoot. And if I had the time, I would use both cannons, dropping his health quickly. Fuck you, Mr. Octopus! Oh fuck. Hi, Mr. Octopus, it's the end for you! Moving into the circus, we have to balance on a tightrope. Or at least, that was the intention, because I didn't have to swivel May at all. Just Cody. And most of that was trying not to move so fast that the unicycle is shot out from under us. As we get to the castle gates, we have to hijack a crane and use it to bust through the walls. Open the door! And once again, our little instigator, Dr. Hakim, moves in
Wanna kill the queen?
and gets us jailed. Now it's time for all that practice to come into play. The lovely practice of multitasking both players at once. As we move into this gauntlet Diablo style section, I was getting really comfortable with moving both players at once, even being able to swap controllers and my attention quickly. It kind of became second nature to me. The only thing is, I couldn't really attack much as May, since 2 of her 3 attacks were bound to the mouse. And I know I could have just rebound it to my keyboard, but the thing is, I forgot. So for now, Cody is our main damage man, and when I had used May to her full potential, Cody was left vulnerable. While maneuvering through the lava pits, I just had Cody spam the ice attacks to freeze everything while May crossed over. Reminds me of an easier version of something that will be a pain in the ass later. Once we get to running from the rolling pin monster, I had panicked a bit and kept forgetting who was who, even having to leave one behind just to survive some parts. Come on, motherfucker! Time to go, 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 time to go.
Is this a dead end?
But in the end, thankfully, I was able to drop the floor just in time, escaping right into the troll boss fight. Who was a little disappointing because this was the easiest of the bunch. Hell, I fumbled my way to victory just from dodging him and not realizing that I had to bait his charge into breaking chains. But once the chains were down, the hardest part of the boss happened. Attacking a defenseless animal with both hands at the same time. All just to get him to fall into a pit. Next up was another easy boss in fighting the chess pieces. All we had to do was dodge their attacks. I mean, or don't. As long as one player is alive long enough for you to respawn, you can die as much as you want. But speaking of defenseless animals,
Hell yeah, first try.
we made our way to the Queen Elephant herself. And why are they making this so fucking difficult?
Before she escapes.
Oh my god.
Someplace quiet and safe. This is horrible. I feel so evil.
Oh, me too. I'll need therapy after this.
Ah, really?
I think she's tricking us. Pull me!
Bro, I've seen live leak videos less mean than this.
Don't Jack.
Moving into the Clocktower, Rose gets the teleport and Cody controls the flow of time. And it's used for many puzzles here that require less swapping and more synchronized work. For most of the puzzles, I just neglected to use the mouse for May's camera and moved blindly. And hope for the best because I needed to constantly keep up Cody's time manipulation. And when the time comes to fight the brass bull, you have to make sure to turn back time and have May stand on the pressure plate. Only to teleport last second in order to not be hit by his charge. Because if you get hit, the bull will stop instead of continuing through and smashing into the statue. There we go. Timing takes a little to get used to. After a couple of hits, the statue does break and you only need to do it one last time to completely crush the bull so you can move on. There we go. Jesus. To the elevator, where you just gotta dodge clock hands. Nothing too difficult here, just time your jumps with both players. Or ignore one just to ensure the other survives. Leaving this level with some cool timey-wimey platforming. And with landing safely at the end, all we gotta do is run in opposite directions to the end. But now, we get to go to the snow level with magnets. Just simple puzzles about matching colors to give yourself some momentum and swing about. We did get to saw a tree down, but there's nothing notable until we get to the village and ring the bells. One of the problems there was to shoot red magnets against an ice wall and use May with her blue magnet to climb up the newly created magnet ladder. Nothing too difficult, except the red pads start sliding down the wall, so you have to use both controllers quickly and accurately to scale this wall. And then we get to skate around and race each other. Damn, I wish I had friends. The absolute worst part of this entire chapter though is this goddamn socket wrench, where it requires both magnets to be able to pull it anywhere. So I was contorting my hand to look like an elite's hand. Also, I can walk this thing slowly to the valves it needs to spin. When I got a good rhythm going, somebody gets too far to stay magnetized. I'm just happy that once it's close enough to the valves, it automatically places itself on so we can easily rotate it shut. Soon after, we got to scale a mountain during a snowstorm and managed to not get swept away because of magnets.
Yeah, bitch! Magnets! Oh!
Sticking to the sign of the corresponding opposite color while the other player is safely stuck to your back. Moving into the next chapter, we gotta take care of Cody's garden, since that's his passion, but a majority of the level is pulling down weeds as Cody and hacking them away as May. So you just hold the trigger and left click as fast as possible to clear any blockages. And there's another section where you just water a bowl for Cody so he can turn into plants.
Wow,
So let's swiftly move on to the first boss of the chapter. A giant plant stalk coming out of the ground where we have to use Cody to hold it in place long enough for May to hack its health down. And in between each attack, it spawns waves of these little root guys who will relentlessly try to attack Cody. So I gotta protect him since using May's attacks leaves Cody vulnerable. But having to aim Cody's grab attack leaves May vulnerable to the plant attacks. So when one dies, I just try to survive long enough for the other to respawn, and then I will rinse and repeat. It was difficult, but once I figured out how to hold the controller and swapping efficiently, it was just a matter of whittling down their health.
we've got spiders!
Shortly after, we find these little guys who make traversing the garden so much faster and easier. And here's where the music gets really fun. It's definitely proper adventuring music. But while climbing, the camera tries to flip around and disorient you. I really enjoyed this part. It's just a good time. Sneaking past the moles was pretty easy as well. You just move steadily as one and then the other. And when Cody becomes a moss, you just gotta move in small bursts the whole way. What I did was focus on May's screen since it's easier to adjust for an analog stick than it is a keyboard. Shortly after that, it comes to keeping one alive no matter what. But of course, I was trying my best to maneuver both players, and damn, I love the charm of this game. It reminds me of why I like Nier. Constantly changing camera angles and genres from third-person action to 2D platformers and even bullet hells. I think this has to be my favorite homage to another game. And then we find these little guys to help us traverse even faster. Haha, look at them go. They help us get right up to the final boss of the game. Joy, the little plant that turns Cody into a vegetable. And those little stalk things come back too, but this time they're spewing poison, so we gotta use May's water gun to clean the ground so Cody can use his dash attack to smash the plants down. Once we defeat enough waves, we plant Cody at the base of Joy as he tries to reason with her. Or, at the very least, he brings down the infection so we could cut it out of the plant. Then survive some bullet hell stuff and we do it all over again. Thankfully, I don't have to aim Cody's attack. If there's enemies nearby, he will just fly into them and I just gotta keep the ground clear of poison. During the final phase of the boss, she really tried throwing the book at us, using every enemy we fought in the chapter so far. But just had to keep the routine going, wash away the gunk, and keep slamming Cody into the stocks, then destroy the last infection inside of Joy, on the top of her head. Now that we revived Cody's passion for gardening, it's time to do the same for May, except it's singing. It's time for that final stretch of the game, which unfortunately doesn't have a final boss, but that doesn't mean the level wasn't hard. We will get to that in a second. May gets the ability to hold a note for a while. She gets to sing and make the magic happen. Cody gets a symbol that's able to be used like a shield and thrown like a frisbee. And thankfully, we will get the hardest part of this entire game out of the way right here at the beginning of the level, which is the last level of the game. Worse than the number blocks, worse than fighting any boss, worse than working together with someone you are actively trying to divorce. You will need to sing on these vinyls to cool them down and raise them up off of the speakers. So we're gonna have to move synchronized in order to be able to cross, because we can't take our time. May can only sing for a few seconds before she needs to recharge her sing bar, and the second she stops singing, the records drop into a kill zone. I had to rebind the sing button to my keyboard, so all I had to do was align the camera and then I could move both characters at the same time. See, May can make it across with no problem, but there's no way to advance Cody since we have to be able to do this together, and it felt impossible. I tried a bunch of different methods of staying synced up. Hell, I even tried banging my head against the wall over and over until it worked. That is usually how I solve my problems in other runs, but I just kept thinking, damn, how could I be so close to the end and just fell like that? I mean, there's no exceptions to the rules this time. Besides, it's 4 in the morning. What am I gonna do? Wake up Priscilla and be like, can you help me with this game? So how did I solve this conundrum? Well, I figured if you sprint, double jump, dash, and then you start singing, it gives you an extra 1.5 seconds that you could just barely make it onto the vinyls in a perfect Goldilocks zone, where the first record is activated and a couple records in front of you are floating. So now it's time to lock the fuck in and make Cody cross on his own. Then we can finally get May across safely. Holy fuck. I was stuck on that for like 45 minutes. I really thought I was gonna have to throw in the towel, but thank God we are done with that. Now we can sing to some microphone snakes and cut them up with Cody. Then we run from a giant snake so we can collect a microphone for May's stage performance. Work our way across dark platforms where we can control the lights to keep Cody safe. And now we have lights for the stage. We play the piano real quick. Use Cody's cymbals to block music waves from the accordion. Collect our band from the little music devils. And now, we gotta collect an audience from a glow stick club. Thankfully, Dr. Hakim vouched for us to let us in.
Dr. Hakeem, my bro, they're with you?
And we start off with the kick-ass Rainbow Road recreation, where you're supposed to race with your friends. After falling off the edges a few times, we finally make it past where we can break down a disco ball, and then we have to balance on top of it without dying. This bit felt harder than other survival sections because I completely forgot about surviving as just one was an option. I had gotten so used to playing as both characters that I just didn't think about leaving one of me's behind.
Okay, baby, groovy. Woohoo! Come on, glow sticks. Dance with me. What are you doing? Where are you going? Come on, glow sticks. Hey, Cody, May. Play some music. Make them dance.
Maybe they will if you leave the dance floor.
Yeah, dude, seriously, I think you're scaring them.
No way, baby. I'm killing it. Can't you see my hip gyrations? Woo!
I sense some bullshit. We get this really fun twist on an Overcooked styled game where instead of running a kitchen, you're making your own DJ set. And the little section where you gotta hit buttons as they come down like Guitar Hero isn't hard because it's the same button on each controller. I would have been able to do that no problem, but it was hard because one is an Xbox controller and the other is a keyboard. So my brain didn't just translate the controls until a couple of rounds later.
Wow, the crowd is really loving it. Maybe this should be our new ringtone.
Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Cody and MC May. Yo.
All right. And with the set complete, that's the end of the game. So it in fact does not take two, as long as you don't mind a headache. The game itself is really fun, and I'm sure it's even better with a friend. But if you enjoyed the video, I have a challenge playlist right here I think you would enjoy. And until then, more importantly, y'all have a wonderful day. Stay pretty.